You're watching Euro Football Daily, and here are this week's biggest transfer rumours from across the continent. Now, a month or two into the season, and with the Champions League and Europa League well underway, players are starting to shine, and the rumours are already swirling ahead of the January window. Remember, if you hear any yourself, stick them in the comments below. Let's get on with it. It's fair to say it's not been a great few weeks for Manchester City, with their 8 points from 5 games, their worst start to a campaign since 2014 under Manuel Pellegrini. With injuries across the side, but particularly to the front line, and Leroy Sané no longer with them, it's put even more pressure on their fit forwards to perform. And whilst Phil Foden and Raheem Sterling have risen to the task admirably, it hasn't been quite so simple for Riyad Mahrez. He may still be taking over 3 shots per 90, but now 47% of his efforts are coming from outside the box compared to just 29% last term. This has unsurprisingly seen his expected goals and assists per 90 fall from an excellent 0.9 in 1920 to just 0.4 this campaign. That's less than Leeds' Rodrigo. But what makes Mahrez's drop-off in form more troubling is the recent speculation surrounding him. A report in France recently suggested the 2-time Premier League winner wants to join PSG if an offer was made. However, the 29-year-old subsequently told City Extra that the quotes are fake, but that'll do little to ease continued speculation surrounding him. With Vincent Kompany and David Silva having left in consecutive summers, Fernandinho now 35 and Aguero out of contract next summer, Man City are clearly a side in transition. But if you were part of the citizens' hierarchy, would Riyad Mahrez be a player you wanted to base the club's future around, or if a bid did come in for PSG, would you accept? And if so, what would the price be? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. It's been a challenging few months for Arkadiusz Milik, to say the least. His long talked about move to Juventus fell through this summer, and after refusing to sign a new contract, he's been left out of Napoli's Serie A and Europa League squads. This is a pretty sad end for a player who cost the Little Donkeys €35 million 4 years ago, and has repaid them admirably with 38 goals in 93 league appearances, which included 28 strikes over the last 2 seasons. Milik, though, is keeping upbeat, telling a Polish news website that he will play matches for the national side. In 3 months, my form won't be too much affected before he tries to find a new club in January. According to Calcio Mercato, he has an agreement in place to join Juve next summer on a free, but due to the deterioration of his Napoli situation, he is no longer prepared to wait, meaning Everton and Spurs are frontrunners for his signature. A move to North London seems unlikely, with Mourinho having secured 25-year-old forward Carlos Vinicius from Benfica for the season, and the Brazilian grabbing 2 assists on his debut against LASK last week. Everton would seem the more sensible alternative. Dominic Calvert-Lewin might have started the season in spectacular fashion with 10 goals in 7 games, but with Moise Kean having joined PSG on loan, Cenk Tosun and Richarlison are their only backup number 9s. As this week against Southampton proved, Everton still need to improve their depth if they are to mount a concerted top 4 push. The 26-year-old Milik, desperate to prove the doubters wrong, could well be an excellent addition. If you are new to Euro Football Daily, make sure you hit the subscribe button and turn notifications on to never miss a video. 7 days a week content, people. Make sure you do it. We head back to Manchester now, because it appears that Man City have beaten crosstown rivals Man United to the signature of Partizan Belgrade Wonderkid Filip Stevanovic. The Red Devils were strongly linked to the 18-year-old throughout the summer, with Partizan's vice president Vladimir Vuletic confirming that the club were in talks with the Red Devils. However, according to the Manchester Evening News, Man City are now close to finalising a £6 million move for the Serbian under-21. This would represent quite a coup for the citizens, as they would not only be beating their closest rivals to him, but also Liverpool, Bayern Munich and Chelsea, who have all been credited with interest in him over the past 12 months. But why are Europe's elite clubs all chasing him? Well, it's quite simple. In his 53 appearances for the club to date, Stevanovic has looked excellent with 12 goals and 5 assists. Only 3 Partizan players managed to top his 9 league goals this term, while he also tasted European action for the first time, making 3 substitute appearances as Partizan finished 3rd in their Europa League group behind United and AZ Alkmaar. Undoubtedly one for the future rather than the here and now, Stevanovic appears to be the latest emerging talent off the Serbian production line that has produced the likes of Mitrovic, Milinkovic-Savic and Filip Kostic in recent years. We look forward to seeing how this one works out. Heading to Liverpool now, where their efforts to replace Virgil Van Dijk have reportedly stepped up a notch. Last week we brought you the news that Deo Upamecano is on their wish list, but according to the Mirror, Liverpool have already opened talks with a separate Bundesliga player ahead of the January window. The defender in question is Schalke's 20-year-old centre-back Ozan Kabak, who joined from Stuttgart in 2019. Since then, he's made 28 Bundesliga appearances and proved himself to be a more than able defender last term, racking up 3.8 tackles and interceptions per 90 and making 42 clearances. That's more than any other Schalke defender. The Mirror's article claims that the German club value the four-capped Turkish international at around £30 million, but Liverpool are hoping to secure him for closer to 20. But questions remain over this signing. Since Van Dijk's injury against Everton last weekend, Fabinho has deputised in central defence, largely to good effect. However, it has meant a slight loss of balance in the midfield. And if they do elect to dip into the market, surely they would be better waiting for Upamecano's buyout clause to become active next summer. If we were Liverpool's director Michael Edwards, we'd certainly plump for the Frenchman. One factor that might well persuade Liverpool is Schalke's situation. Without a league win since January, Napoli currently 17th in the Bundesliga and actively trying to offload their debts, which totaled a reported £200 million this summer. If they could offload Kabak this January and reinvest that money in other areas of the struggling side, you'd be confident that they would. German fans, we want to hear from you though. Would Kabak actually improve Liverpool's defence, and how much should they pay for him? Let us know in the comments below. We head to Amsterdam now for our headline story, where fresh from beating VVV Venlo 13-0 at the weekend, Ajax are having to contend with interest from Barcelona and Juventus for one of their most promising youngsters. 18-year-old Ryan Gravenberch has risen through the ranks at Ajax and now has 15 senior appearances under his belt. Last week he made his Champions League debut against Liverpool and didn't look out of place, and backed that up this weekend with his second Eredivisie assist of the season. 6'3" with a rangy running style capable of creating 1.6 chances and beating his man 1.9 times per 90, it's little surprise that comparisons to Paul Pogba have already been made. And according to Tuttosport, it is the Frenchman's former club Juventus who have shown the biggest interest in Gravenberch, tracking him for over 2 years. You can see why they might want him too, with a lack of dynamism in midfield costing the Bianconeri dearly in Europe over the last 2 seasons. Rodrigo Bentancur is the only Juve midfielder currently completing over 1.4 take-ons per 90, while none of them can get close to Gravenberch's 2.1 shots per 92. And whilst Juve might have a fairly solid relationship with Ajax, having successfully bought Matthias de Ligt off them in 2019, they cannot get close to Barcelona, Gravenberch's other admirers, when it comes to inter-club relations. With a relationship and shared playing philosophy that stretches all the way back to Johan Cruyff, it's no surprise that Barcelona have bought an Ajax player in 3 of the last 4 years, with Sillerson being joined by De Jong and this summer, Serginho Dest. But we want to know from you guys, which club would suit Gravenberch more and which would you join if you were him? Get your answers in the comments below. Finally, we brought you the news last week that Paulo Dybala's future at Juventus seemed a little uncertain after a reported bust-up with old lady CFO Fabio Paratici. It's always said that a week is a long time in football, and so it has proved, as Paratici came out over the weekend and said the 26-year-old Argentine is in talks with the club over a new contract. Sky Sports News reported his direct quotes, which read, "He wants to stay and we want to keep him. We'll continue negotiations to find an agreement." This means that any club that wants to sign the former Palermo number 10, which has included Man United, PSG, Real Madrid and Spurs in the last 2 years, will have to act fast. But there's no guarantee that Dybala will sign. After all, his standing in the team isn't clear at the moment. He's had a difficult time recently, testing positive for COVID-19 and battling a thigh injury that saw him miss 2 games. That being said, 5 games into the new Serie A season, and he would have expected to play more than the 90 minutes he has. Something tells us that until he signs a new contract, speculation will continue to build around him. So that's it from today's episode of Euro Transfer Talk. If you enjoyed it, make sure you hit the like button, hit subscribe, head over to Football Daily as well to check out today's 11. I think it's players your club should have sold. I should know, I did the voiceover. Nevertheless, thanks very much for watching. We'll see you later.